What is up, guys? Pittsburgh Weiss Schwarz back again with another set review. We're doing that one singular time I was reincarnated as a slime today. I'm joined with Brian and Carmen, as usual, and Ryan Wibberly, the expert on Slime Tensei. And to change it up a bit this time, I think Ryan can read this first card, because I'm tired of reading the Ricky every time.
Okay. So first double or in yellow. It's a 0/0 Rimuru. The first effect is actual. Pay 1, clock 1, search your deck for a level 1 or lower and add it to your hand. Wow. Haven't seen that effect since Madoka Magica record. The second effect is a little less important. On play, you can discard a card from your hand if you do choose any. Choose a level 0 card on your opponent's board and bounce it back to their hand.
It's Ricky. It's here. It's him.
It is a real Ricky. Again, the last time this was printed was actually Magic record, which I think is 2 years.
Yeah,
2 years? 1 year?
Yeah,
I don't know.
just like true Ricky, level 1 or lower search.
Yes, it's been a very long time. Seeing it again is very nice.
I mean, you just play 4 of this, right? Like 3 or 4? Like
Yeah, probably just want to cram 3 or 4. Like every deck if you can.
I feel like I've seen this effect so much. Like, what's different with this?
it's in JP. They have like when this was printed, it hadn't been printed in a long time. They were all salvage Rickies.
Yeah, like Bushiroad's been very careful with printing like actual search Rickies, I guess is how I would word it, because like the effects are inherently extremely powerful. It's like usually they print like a salvage Ricky or like a spawn Ricky or something, which is like a similar idea, but it's not as powerful as the search Ricky.
Yeah, and this is just pure search Ricky.
Why are they so overpowered? Is it just the deck thinning on first deck?
It's just your deck is your bigger pool, right? At level 0.
You get access to the bigger zone early in the game. You get an extremely a cost efficient form of advantage at that point in the game, and then you quote unquote deck thin 2 cards on top of it.
Yeah, and you accelerate yourself to level 1 on top of it all.
I don't like that second effect though. It seems kind of garbo to me.
Like when this set came out and like Fate was like the best deck in format, quote unquote. The second effect was actually pretty good because you could bounce the Avenger and then you completely like their level 1 turn or whatever they were going for.
Yeah, because you can bounce back row characters. So there's
still their clock encore.
This is still really good against Fate then in English, because Fate's still a deck that people are going to play.
Like in English specifically, that effect will still be good because if you bounce Avenger and Fate loses a lot of tempo, I guess is how I would word it. Like they don't really lose advantage per se, but they lose tempo, which is really important for Fate as a deck.
You know what? I'm actually going to give this an S rating because of that, because Fate is going to be so popular at our...
Jeez!
Whenever we return to NA events, guys, it is going to be an absolute shit show, because people are going to be playing a bunch of random garbage, and Fate is going to be one of those random garbage. So
no, it's not. Fate's expensive. You know what it's going to be, Carmen? It's going to be AOT still, Sunshine still.
Love Live Sunshine everywhere.
And JoJo's, because everyone loves JoJo's.
I mean, still, that counterplay alone, I think, is worth it. Like, you just remove it. Like, I don't know. If you play this at level 1, you can, like, stop their Sakura bombs from being ridiculous, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I'm joking around a bit, but, like, it is going to be very, like, relevant in that matchup. And Fate's definitely one of the stronger decks in English right now. But I don't think I'd give it the bump up to S for that. I think I'd still give it an A.
I'm trying to think of like other matchups where the second effect like actually comes into play, but I honestly can't think of any outside of like Fringe Case. It's mainly just a fate effect.
I'm just really like I don't want to say concerned. I'm not concerned about English Fate because I do think the deck is overhyped, but I feel like I will see it a lot in Swiss, so that's why I'm giving it the bump. It's already a really good effect, so.
I mean, Fate's great when anyone else plays it, but
when I touch it, I'll be like 8 and 20, and then I'll just eat like 6 or 7 and die. That's my lot in life. But when other people play it, I'm sure it's much scarier. So, be nice to turn off Shiro.
Yeah.
All right, let's just move into the level 1 combo. I guess we're going in reverse. I got the 3/2 Rimuru. When this is placed on the stage from your hand or via the effect of the Inherited Feelings Rimuru, which is the 2/1s, the merge. Look at up to 3 cards from the top of your deck. Choose one from among them, add it to your hand. So it's a top check 3 add. Gets into your climax. Climax combo, this attacks with the wind that you see there, the what everyone has. You can pay 2, deal 2. Really good damage numbers. And then Recollection, pay 1, rest 1 of your characters as long as you have the Ruler of Flame Shizu, which is the level 1 combo. Choose one of your Rimuru successor, which is this card, or the Predation Rimuru, which is the trial deck card, from your hand. Place it any slot on your stage. Put all cards from underneath that character as a marker. So you move the markers over. This is
that's a lot of text.
that is a lot of text. So if you guys skip the trial deck video, which I know a lot of people do because it's a trial deck, that 3/2 that you see there, the Predation Rimuru, it has sort of the Rem effect. It doesn't have the early play, but it gains 1,000 for every marker. It heals on play, and you're summoning it from hand, so you'll still be able to heal. And then gains a marker when it gets a reverse from your grave.
So Ruler Flame Shizu.
That's the level 1.
It's the level 1 combo.
It is the level 1 combo.
She sends herself to memory.
She does.
She becomes reversed.
Costless go to memory. So you usually will always have the condition met for the memory effect.
Not bad,
Yeah, because you only need one of them. And you're probably going to send more than one.
Well, what if there is only one and it's flipped face down with memory crystal?
Okay, let's not bring that up again. And you can merge into it, right?
Getting better.
If you're at level 3, yeah.
The 2/1 specifically is if you're at level 3 or higher, you can merge with the 0/0 Shizu, which is a climax swapper, and then you stock a character from waiting room, and then you spawn this card from waiting room. It's like the merge itself is like actually pretty good if you want to opt into that. It gives you the first one for 1 stock, and then you can get the additional copies for an additional 1 stock with the spawn effect. So you can triple play this for 2 stock, actually.
Yeah, that's really, really good. Being able to triple play it is crazy.
Yeah, if you want a triple combo, you have to go into level 3 with 6 stock. If you play them, that is quite good.
Yeah, that is super efficient.
It's really versatile, especially since like the second and third effect on this, right? So you can either go for the big, game ender play of tri-field this, but there's also like a better, normal play too.
Sustained play.
Of just being able to play 1 or 2 of these and then Recollection out the other Rimuru.
The marker. And then it gains marker, so it'll be bigger.
Yeah, and it heals when it comes down from hand, so you live longer.
Seems like it really lets you set up aggressively for a big endgame, and even if you don't hit the highest payoff, you still can just downgrade it to the next tier.
I mentioned this in the trial deck. I'll just mention it again. Like Slime, if you can't tell just by this card, it's not a 1-turn kill deck. Like burn 2 on attack is a good effect, but it is not. It's not like extremely powerful. It's not gonna finish a game like by itself. So being able to spawn healers for 1 stock. Sorry about that. Like helps you play into a 2-turn kill like play style while keeping your resources, and that is really powerful by itself.
Yeah, you do have the option to heal by going into the Rem or the Shizu Rem.
Yeah. What else can I talk about this card? The third effect, you can tap anything. So you can, if you're going for a 2-turn kill sort of play, you can play 1 copy of this in the back and then tap itself to spawn the Rem. So you don't have to worry about like losing this card or whatever.
Yeah, you can keep it in the back row.
That is very good. That's very powerful. Like the dig X or the check 3 helps you find additional copies of this card to keep spawning them and to keep looping them or to find your wind. That's also really good. The only other thing to talk about this card is like the marker effect on the third effect actually doesn't matter if you don't play the Rem. Like ever. Like this card doesn't use markers. Only the Rem uses markers, so it's just there for flavor and for for the markers on Rem.
I really like that this is a 3/2 finisher with a good come and play effect that isn't useless without the climax in your hand if you're going for that 2-turn kill. If you still, like, God forbid you whiff your top checks, right, to get into your climax, no matter how compressed you are, you can go for the slower play because it's an act ability. After you do your top checks, you can see, it gives you the chance to reassess, right, and see. It's just like, okay, what do I want to go for now that because it gives you your full information that otherwise just like, okay, maybe this isn't the right turn to do this after I've played one, but this, you move to the back row. Then act ability, you can rest anything. So with one of these on the board, if you have more than one of the Rem Rimuru in your hand, you can spawn multiple of them. Then act, so you can rest any card. It doesn't have to be this. If you aren't going to brainstorm, you can tap down your back row, spawn 2 of those, heal twice, move the markers around if you've merged into it. And when you merge, you're going to open up spots on your board too. So you can move cards around, which, I mean, we were just talking about, like, board space and stuff like that. I just thought that was interesting if you are going to play the merge.
I mean, the 2 cards that you merge into, like, don't really do anything on the board. So you typically don't want them on the board before the turn you're merging into.
Yeah, I guess
like,
that's true.
That's a
you're
little less relevant.
Yeah, you're just going to play them from hand.
Yep.
Still really cool. It's kind of like, I don't know. I don't want to... It's
There's
much... Yeah.
a lot of moving pieces with the combo, but there's also a lot of built-in consistency tools and, like, other options that you can go into along the way. And I'm personally a big fan of... I think finishers that come into play and look at the top however many cards of your deck and add one to hand, are like, I think that's the best effect you can have on a finisher.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I think it's also important to note that the climax combo, aside from being on attack, which is relevant, especially in English when you have like AOT and sword art with money counter and all that stuff running around. But the fact that it's a burn 2 finisher, going into a field where we're gonna have memory snow probably at the point when
we get back to events,
tournaments, start happening again, and the fact that people really hate AOT and really want players. I think you're going to see a lot of memory snow potentially, and the fact that this gets around the anti-ping
because it's burned 2, yeah.
Nice.
I don't know. It's a lot of cards, but I think it's worth it. Like, this is...
But they all flow
crazy.
into each other, you know what I mean?
It's on win, dude. Win body standby. It's always trigger win.
The benefit of this card is how versatile it is. The pay 2 for the burn 2 I feel like is a tad expensive, but that's a reasonable price to pay for all of the options that this card provides.
I mean, it's expensive because it's on attack, so you pay more to be able to play around like foreclosure or money counter, whatever you're going into.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
Pay 2 seems reasonable.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. A+.
I think one other cool thing you can do with this card, if you want to play standby, you can standby this at 2, and then you can play your TD Rems as actual. Wow.
Yeah. I know that was like the idea behind the more greedy builds, right? That run like the 2 standby or whatever.
Yeah. I can talk about it more when we get there, but the other card that you use to merge into it is an on-play climax. So and with that card and playing 4 pants triggers usually, you could go greedy with your climax ratios, and you could go like 3 standby 1 wind, 2 standby 2 wind. And you can get the high ceiling of standby in this at 2 while also having the win CX to actually finish them off. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I
really like the fact that we get that you can stand by and get real rems. We kind of started talking at the same time there. That was a bit awkward.
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
Yeah, I like the fact that Ryan brought up with you can actually use your trial deck rems as actual rems. It actually is better than rem if you're playing it off this card, probably.
It's better and it's worse in a sense. Like it's one stock, but there's a delay because you have to stand by this out, and then you start spawning them on the next turn. So you have like when you're going for that play and you're trying to snowball, you have to bank that you're going to cancel and stay at 2 on that turn.
Yeah.
It's also slightly worse than actual rem because you have to give up a back row slot for this card specifically. So the rems that you're spawning aren't necessarily going to be very big. They're going to be like 10k, like just base value. So like that, they're gonna have a hard time getting reverses if your opponent early plays in response to seeing you stand by this in the back row. So like that is a detriment to that line of play.
Yeah, because Rem will come down at like 2-0, 2-1, right, and heal you down, and then get one reverse ideally, sit at 10-5, behind bath time, 12-5, back up to 14-5 and above. So it's a very different scenario, but you know, if you do get that extra turn at 2, it is still pretty good.
It's like good incentive to early play this off the standby. Like, yeah, I played a lot with the Steph and No Game No Life. It has the same top check 3 effect when you play it, right? And sometimes it's a little awkward standbying that card because then I don't get my top check effect later to get into my climax. Right?
But this, if you you can't merge it.
You still wanna stand by it every time. It's never like
well, no, it's you won't get the top check 3 effect if you stand by it.
Well, no,
you'll get
I know,
everything
but
else.
There's other benefits to playing it early.
Yeah, there's other effects to stand buying it. Yeah, good coincidental value.
I like it a lot. I give it an A+ too. It's really, really good.
I like that it's on wind.
I was just about to say one of the drawbacks is the climax is a wind. So like I don't know, there's like this weird dichotomy with the wind trigger where sometimes it's the best trigger in the game and sometimes it's the worst trigger in the game.
Yeah, other times it's just garbage.
So like yeah, depending on certain matchups, the wind climax is really bad, and then other matchups the wind climax is like how you win the game. So I don't know, it just depends on what you're playing against.
It's an inherently sacky trigger. You have to sack into the right matchup and then also trigger it. So, but yeah, I think we can move on. This card's sick. Big reason to play Slime. This whole package in general. I feel like this would like feel really good to play in general because it's so efficient.
Yeah, like I said, the triple combo at 6 stock. If you like, just being able to sit there and know that you only need 6 stock to triple finish your combo is it's pretty cool. It's pretty good, pretty cool to play with.
Yeah,
especially when you have such cool early plays to spam. Segue into the next card.
Yeah, this next card. You want to tell us about the Xion, Brian?
All right, we have Xion, fulfilling the humiliation. If there are 2 or fewer climax cards in your waiting room, can be played at level 2. During your turn, if all of your characters are Demon Continent trait, this gets 2k power. When this card is placed from your hand to the stage, you can ditch a card if you do heal to stock. It's a solid early play healer.
Heal to stock 11/5 sounds pretty good.
It's no mesmerizing water goddess, but I'll take it.
Yeah, it's slightly worse than the Aqua early play, and then there's also like an argument that it's slightly better because you can spam this card a bit easier than the Aqua, like on one single turn.
Also, yeah.
Like the issue with this card in particular, or well, I guess there's 2 issues. The first issue is that like the heal to stock is kind of not really important because your top end is so efficient if you're playing the wind trigger. So like, you don't have a stock problem. So like usually you'd rather keep your hand and not worry about the stock. But that is okay. And then like the other issue with this card is the set actually has like a miles better early play that you would rather be playing in multiples of over this card. It's like usually you play this card as like a 2 to 3 of, and it's like the 3rd early play that you would play alongside the other 2 Shizu early plays.
Because the Shizu is like a memory condition, right? You like can't whiff it, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. It's tied to your level 1 combo.
And it's like a 10-5
normal
heal.
Hand on core healer.
Yeah. This is still really good, though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think I'd prefer if it was a bit more defensively slanted. Power-wise, though. Like 2,000 on your opponent's turn, or just like a static plus 1,000. Just because I feel like in standby decks, you're incentivized to run a lot of backups. I don't know why I keep calling this a standby deck. It's because from what Wibbs has said so far, it sounds like it's pants trigger, and then you kind of split between standbys and wins depending how greedy you are. But
or doors, depends on your build.
It seems like you want to have a lot of backups and like defensive strategies, maybe. and having like something that gets big on attack but smaller on defense is a little awkward. But I think it's still a really good early play, and the fact that it does get stronger means it's nice to just play it from hand as like a supplementary early play, right? Like you stand by out a different card and then you slam this down from your hand.
Gion is strong, dude. Flavorful.
Yeah,
Your
like my
turn.
main issue with this card is how weak it is on defense. So like playing this card, you have to give away 2 hand to early play heal, and then
Mhm.
she will like almost always die on the swing back because she's so small. So like you're
Mhm.
investing 2 hand for like the 1 turn heal, and like you don't even sick board, and that's like usually an investment I don't really want to be doing.
Is this like more common as a level 3 third lane? Then because it's stock efficient.
Like usually this card is something you play as the 3rd slot. It doesn't matter if it's level 2 or if it's level 3. You would play this as like the 3rd card along with whatever you're doing.
That makes sense, right? Because like your stock's a finite resource on your turn. You can't. This is more efficient. It plays for 1.
So like I said earlier, you can technically spam this more than like the Aqua, but like yeah, you usually don't want to be spamming this because of the hand investment that you have to go through with multiples of this.
Yeah, still a really good early play. I'll just give it like
I think it's like a solid A.
A minus, A, like around that range, somewhere in there.
An A. Wow. I have a very high standard for early plays, and this doesn't make it.
Yeah, maybe I'm biased. I hate seeing multi aquas.
With the other early
A low
play in this
standard
set,
for early plays.
like when you guys see the other early play in this set, whew, oh, that card blows this one out of the water.
Yeah, the Shizu early play is pretty crazy. But in any other deck that didn't have access to that, I think this would be fine.
Yeah.
I have a pretty low standard on early plays, and I see a pretty easy to meet condition, and it heals to stock, and I give it an A.
Fair enough.
All right, Andy, we've wrapped back around to you.
We did it. God, who the hell is this? Hakuro, EI Strike. Okay, when this card's placed from hand to stage, all your opponent's front row get minus 500 for the turn. The attacks, choose one of your other Demon Continent characters, and they get 500 times the number of other Demon Continent characters for the turn. So probably, usually would be plus 2,000 power to another lane.
Yeah, it's like plus 2,500 effectively, right? It's minus 500.
Yeah.
I see this pop up at low counts in like a lot of decks.
It seems like kind of a nice little versatile card. Like, if you don't have anything better to stand by out, you can always just throw this over one of your other cards, because at least this does something next turn by pumping power. So if you trigger like an empty, like a standby that's not very useful, you can at least throw this somewhere and then get a good effect next turn, maybe.
I mean, ideally, you want to play this from hand, though, right?
And as far as like a versatile one of, it's like a little bit of a versatile one of too, because you can always just add it back to your hand with like a gate trigger. Like, I don't know, if you ever get a chance to search or whatever, and this is your one of, you know, minus 1,500 power total to their field.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the question is, what are you looking to buff with this?
Yeah, Wibbs, why does this pop up all the time?
I was just about to say that. So like usually slime doesn't need reverses ever in the game. Like the level 3s we saw is on attack, your level 1 combos on attack. But people would play this at low counts if they're opting into playing the clean cut.
Okay.
Yeah, so like there's a 0/0 blue reamer that's like 2k anti-runner clean cut, which like we can talk about when we get. But yeah, you have a 2k clean cut and you have no other power pumps at 0. So usually people will play this alongside the clean cut if they opt into that to like actually get your clean cut over and be able to kill things.
Because like effectively, even with one other character, it's a
plus 1,500.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fine.
So it has a nice interaction there, but like if you aren't playing the clean cut, you never really need the power ever. So this card's not very good.
That's what I thought of when I first saw it. As like, isn't this whole deck on attack? Like, why do I care as much? You know?
I was wondering. Yeah. Seems
versatile, but you probably don't need the. You don't really need what he's bringing to the table. Maybe
marginally useful.
It's a good Shimakai profile, though, right? Like, general -5. Plus
For
one
a 0
2K.
Shimakai, it is a pretty good profile, yeah. It just doesn't work in the deck, or it doesn't
Yeah.
fit in the set.
Alright, moving on. We've wrapped all the way around. Wibbs, this is you.
Oh, hey, cool. It's a 0/0 Ellen Brainstorm. It's a brand new Brainstorm that they never printed before this set. Yay. First effect, when your character trigger text a climax card, you can choose one of your characters and you can pump the 1k power. And then it is a pay 1 tap self Brainstorm. Mill 4, for every climax you hit, you repeat the action, check up to 3 cards off the top of your deck, add any card to your hand, and then ditch the rest.
You can add any card, even a climax?
Yeah.
Choose any card.
Seems pretty
It's really good.
good, yeah.
I like that a lot. It's a lot of mill on your first
That is-
deck.
that is
If you
a lot
hit
of
like a
mill.
couple climaxes or something, you guys just went through 10 cards.
It's a huge amount of mill. Potential mill, anyway.
I don't know. I feel like this card is a trap.
Why do you think that?
I don't know. It's like, adding climaxes is something I want to do off my finisher, and I don't want to mill a bunch on my last deck because I don't want to like
You do
destroy my final deck.
Up to 3. Up to 3. You just
Up
do
to
one.
3, I guess. You could do 1, but if I'm digging for a climax, I'm incentivized to look at more cards, unless I somehow see the climax on my first card. Like, I think ideally, if I were playing this
Well,
card,
Carmen, are you going for the killer, or are you going for the kill, or aren't you? If you're digging
Well, I
for the
was-
climax, you're going for the kill. You're going for
I
the
would-
throat, dude.
I feel
Trying
like
to
I would
kill them or
split
not?
this with a traditional Brainstormer at like a 1 of, maybe. Or if I were playing 4 Brainstorms, I'd go 3-1, or I would go 2-1 or something.
I mean, as we saw in the trial deck, the mask event is really good. This card can grab. That makes this card a little bit better.
Yeah, the fact that it grabs Mask, that's important.
I like the secondary effect on it. It's like a mini Hanamaru from
Hanamaru
Sunshine.
Jr., yeah.
It's a really
I think
sacky effect, but it's fine when it works, I guess. Confirmation bias effect.
It makes you have to sequence your attacks properly every single turn if you want to be, a good player. You can't just turn your brain off and just turn everything sideways. You have to
Or it could
sequence
ruin your
attacks every
optimal
time.
attack sequencing, depending on your opponent's board state. Depending on what level they're going to get to at a certain time, if you're trying to play around backups.
But I think if it were me, I'd probably just run 4 of this one and forget the 3. Like, I'd just max out on this one and forget the other one. But I think Carmen brought up a good point earlier too. That if you think if you want to split this with a more conventional Brainstormer, that's also an option.
Well,
Yeah, this brainstorm doesn't have selectivity. Is the issue.
yeah.
Like, your selectivity is like is only the top 3 cards of your deck compared to like your deck or your bin. If it's like a more normalized quote unquote brainstorm. So like, the fact that it grabs any card is really cool. Sometimes when it hits, like the best part about this brainstorm is that it hyper mills. It's like if you're on like a second deck and you need to hyper mill, this card can get you through your deck pretty fast. But like overall, it's not as good as like a more normal brainstorm.
Yeah,
That's why I feel like I'd split it, right?
Yeah, like when I was opting into playing this, I think I went 3-1 salvage brainstorm and then this, and I don't think I would play any more than just the one for when you need the hyper mill.
Yeah, you definitely don't just run 3 of this, because I rave about consistency a lot, and I feel like this is just a nightmare for any deck that wants to play with any sort of consistency at all.
Well, aren't you also you're incentivized to fill your grave fast for Shizu to have more selectivity? Because you're always playing Shizu in this set, right? Like you're more incentivized to play a salvage brainstorm that this deck set has access to. So it loses a bit of its value. I do like it as like a 1 of, like you're splitting it. Like I know Goblin Slayer does that a lot. They'll like go 2 search, 1 salvage, 2 salvage, 1 search. They'll split it. I feel like you could easily run this as like a split brainstorm.
You gotta plow through that first deck, brother.
Well, that requires you to hit
get through.
Andy, you might hit climaxes on first deck, but normal people don't always hit climaxes on first deck.
Great. If you don't hit climaxes, you have them all in your deck to cancel with. If you do hit all your climaxes, if you
I guess that's
hit all
fair.
climaxes like I do, then you just go through the rest of your deck.
Or you could be me and you could have them all in your hand.
That's true.
Oh, then you're just fucked.
Yeah.
You're just completely screwed.
That's the normal Weiss
Um,
experience, right?
As a Magic the Gathering player,
Yikes.
I don't care about selectivity. I just see a plus, and a plus is a plus. And I love this card. I'm going to give it an A. I like it a lot. I think that if I were to play Slime, I think this would be my brainstormer of choice.
I
Poisonally.
would give it a B. I don't
Yeah,
like the lack of selectivity.
I think it's a fine card, but it does need to be played in conjunction with another brainstorm.
First effect is really sacky too. I've been playing a lot of Contai recently with the new brainstorm. I hate that first effect. It's a
You just gotta plan your attacks every single turn.
well, it's
You-
not
you
even
gotta,
that.
like-
It's like I don't know. It's just a confirmation bias effect. When it wins you the lane, it's worse in Love Live Sunshine, right? Because people will tell you that Hanamaru's broke. It's like, oh my god, I win lanes with my Chicas, and it's like, yeah, sure. When your Chica randomly pluses removes your opponent's character on the next turn, that's pretty cool. But even this effect, it's just a confirmation bias effect, I think.
You've been playing a lot of Hearthstone lately, Carmen.
Yeah,
When you discover the perfect card,
I'm the
it
best
feels
player.
great. Yeah.
Well, I always discover the best card.
And even when you
every
don't
time.
discover the perfect card, you still discovered a card.
Is this a look at 3 joke? You know,
Yeah,
I
let's
was
just
actually
move on.
talking about hitting the climax with
You're
the 1,000
discovering.
power, but I guess it actually works with the brainstorm effect too. It's actually more applicable there.
All right, let's just move
We should
on.
just move on.
Yeah.
This is you, Carmen.
All right, it's just a free runner. 2K free runner. Base free runner profile.
Sweet.
Yeah, we,
Unga Bunga runner one away. These are worse now. With the chaser, so I'm gonna give it a C plus. Especially because I think this is a deck where you want to play the oversizes. But whatever, it's there.
yeah, it's an option.
I actually, I guess we can talk about that when we get to the oversizes, but I don't actually like playing a quote-unquote +0 in Slime. I don't think it's needed.
Mm.
Yeah, we can talk about that with the next card.
Yeah.
Free runners are worse because almost every deck wants to and can tri-lane now. So if you go second, you open this, you're a free runner. It doesn't kill anything if you go first and it lives, so it doesn't really do much on your tri-lane turn. I'm not a
Wait,
fan.
you want to try lane now? I thought that was like the idiot play.
Oh no, it depends. Contextual.
Tri-failed Slim Climax.
Usually, if you go first on your second turn, you want to try. Usually, it's almost always a good play. Almost. I'm not saying
Okay. So
always.
like if I go first, I play one card turn one, and then turn two, I play two more.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, I can dig that.
That's
Yeah. All right, let's just move on to Shion here.
right. We have Samurai Shion. There are 2 or fewer cards in your stock. This gains 15. 4K. I generally like these stock dependent oversizes. So I'm a fan of this card.
It's always going to be big on the immediate swing back turn.
Mhm.
If you need to modulate it on your turn, you can like pay out some stock for a brainstormer to get within the limit of stock that you need to be. And after that second turn, you really don't care about the power on this anyway. It's just going to die to their level 1. So
Exactly. But more often than not, this card holds the board 0, which is what it's intended to do.
Yellow, it's an oversize. That's all I have to say. So, what would you say? You think this isn't needed? Wibbs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, strange, right?
Yeah, it's like I
like-
see this pop up a lot in most builds. It's either this or the Milim, right?
At first, I think everyone was on it, and then people started to realize that it wasn't necessarily needed. So, like usually when you're deck building in Weiss, like one of the first things you always do is like you have your +ing 0, and like you make it a 4 of like almost right away, right?
Yeah.
That's just conventional deck building. But the thing is, if the +ing 0 doesn't actually fit what the deck is trying to do, or if it doesn't help accelerate, is that the word I'm looking for? If it doesn't
Yeah.
help like tie into the game plan that you're trying to go for with the card, then
Synergize.
it's sort of pointless. So like typically when you play a plus and zero, you want it to give you a like advantage, so that way you can tri-lane on your next turn. But if the deck doesn't have a problem with tri-laning turn 2, anyways, even if it doesn't have a plus and zero, then why do you need the plus and zero?
Yeah, I guess.
Like so, like what cards do you run that don't let you need the plusing zero? I guess.
It's mainly the Ricky, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Funny enough, that card gives you that card alone gives you enough advantage at 0 that you don't necessarily. And then you also have a bunch of utility to almost always get triple Shizu at level 1, so you don't need the extra advantage going into your level 1 turn.
Yeah, because if you resolve triple Shizu, and they all go to memory, that's pretty crazy for any deck.
Mm-hmm.
So
like,
if you make up that ground, you don't need to like plus it on your first turn, I guess. Ideally,
that is the logic. Instead, what you can do is you can take those slots and you can play some more utility. So like you can play like the Mass Fonder. You can play more copies of your Chiuri. You can even play like more copies of the Ricky or something. Just like anything that helps like facilitate the Shizu game plan a bit better. Which this card, or like this profile in general, like the plus and zero, doesn't necessarily do.
Okay.
Like I guess the Ricky would be something that you like to try field with, because you want it to die, so you don't care if it dies, because then you just get a dig for your combo.
Oh no, the Ricky is on play in this set.
I thought we were talking about
the Chiuri, yeah.
Yeah, I might have said the wrong name. Might be. I'm gonna give it a solid B for businesswoman, because she's certainly not a fucking samurai. I don't know how you could even think this looks like a samurai.
She's very strong.
She's going to work.
It's fine. If you want to play plus and zero and you need yellow fix, it's easy. I mean, it's better than the runner right now, especially in English.
Better position.
Play this, yeah.
Yeah, like the card itself isn't that bad. I just don't necessarily think it's like needed or good in slime in specific.
Yeah. If you have the ability to play nothing but utility and mill and shit at level 0, then by all means you should do so, because then those cards have value later. So
yeah, exactly. Like cards like these don't scale into the late game like other cards, and like I feel like that phrase is sort of a meme in most of the Weiss communities. Like it doesn't matter that they don't scale, but like that can become like an actual liability. Where you
no,
yeah,
it's not a meme at all, dude. That's like legit.
Yeah.
I think it is a meme in the Weiss community.
In the greater Weiss community, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like people don't like look at card scaling as like a factor in like how you evaluate cards. And, like cards like these just don't scale well, and they result in like dead draws or just dead situations where you have to chump cards. I'm not particularly a fan.
Like another example that I guess, because you and me talked about this before, Carmen, too, before Springfest and all these other tournaments and shit, or what, Toronto.
Yeah, I think it was for Toronto.
Preparing my AOT deck, and I only run 3 Rickies, and you were telling me I really should run the 4th, and that was I kind of had like the argument Wibbs did there, where it was like, I only really like 3 Rickies generally because they don't scale well into the late game.
I guess
so that's why
true.
I only ran 3 of the Krista and Attack on Titan. But
in AOT, you're also trying to cut down on yellow, so it's a little bit of a different scenario. But I agree.
But like in Review Starlight, when I play Review, I'll always run 4 Karen, because that's a Ricky that scales very well into the late game with the Surveil effect.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah,
I don't know. I think
important.
it's just like a good point that Wibbs brought up there about scaling.
Well, he is the slime expert. He's the expert in general.
Anyone who says that's irrelevant or a meme is an idiot.
I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, card scaling is important, guys.
Yeah, for sure.
It can be important.
All right, I think we can move on here. We talked about
what do we got? This is
you,
me.
Andy.
Shion, the Matchless Warrior. When you play her, she gets 500 power times the number of demon characters on your field for the turn, counting herself. So it can get up to plus 2,500 if you have a full field when you play it. And on reverse, search your deck for a character.
Yay.
So this actually gets to 8k, right?
It does.
Am I mathing right? Yeah, it
Yeah,
gets
you're
to,
mathing right. In one lane, it gets to 8K.
and it gets to 7,500 in another, and then it gets to 7K in the other. This just seems like a strictly better Shimakaze, right?
Yeah,
Because like
Shimakaze, yeah.
even if you just have one copy, as long as you play it last, you're hitting 7.
I don't.
The power is good, but Shimakaze as a profile is not very good.
Yeah, I'm really tempted to just be like, just see,
Yeah,
like budget.
I guess I was more or less just making an observation there.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
It sounds like the Shizu is the
Yeah.
is what's up with this set.
It's just like, I don't know, these on reverse search profiles, especially in English. It's just like, it's always been bad because of AOT being popular, and then it just progressively gets worse as standby becomes
I don't know.
more
As
relevant.
AOT fades out, though, like
It's never fading out. We've already had this discussion.
it's still being everything's moving to be an on attack combo.
Well,
nowadays.
okay.
So eventually, no one's gonna give a shit about vying for board at level 1. Then you walk in with your Shimikazes, dick in hand, and you just stomp the event.
Well, no, because
Right.
the second you get to top 8, these fall off so hard because your opponent's not a dumbass. So
You have to interact with your opponent, and interacting with your opponent is usually not a good thing if you're expecting them to play in a tournament against good people.
yeah, interacting's a losing play.
Because there's always potential counterplay and like ways to go around it, which is detrimental when you can play around like your high priority advantage combo.
Shion
the
waifu only.
The Shizu is going to be way better. I'm just happy that Bushiroad's like actually saying, yeah, Shimikazes are kind of underpowered, so we're going to buff them a bit, and
At least it's a rare.
Yeah.
they're taking care to up the power level of it.
I feel like I've seen Shimikazes at double rare in some of these like recent
Shimikazes
releases.
With constant power, they're double rare, and they've been double rare since like Monogatari. Or
Yeah.
even before Monogatari, since like Sympho Gear GX days.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Like the power or rarity evaluation, whatever you want to call it, values constant power a lot higher than burst power. Even if in context of the game, burst power is usually better.
Yeah.
it's an on reverse plus. Slap that second R on it.
Yeah. Sure. All right. Moving on, Brian.
Okay, I think it's me.
Oh yeah, it's all the way around. Yeah.
I don't have card names. I'm sorry. It's a 1/1 Rimuru. When the battle opponent of your other character becomes reversed, choose one of your characters, and that character gains plus 2,000 power for the turn. And then it has a startup. You can tap this card, choose a character in your opponent's back row that is higher level than your opponent's level. That character doesn't stand next turn.
Revenge Killer anti-standby.
It's an anti-standby card. That's pretty cool.
Cool that they have access to it. I don't know if you play this card, but
Yeah, you usually don't because this card doesn't serve any purpose outside of being anti-standby. Like I mentioned with the Shimikai, you don't really need the power of her because you don't reverse. So the power is only relevant when you have to like dismantle certain boards, which is like I guess standby matchups.
yeah.
As well.
And as a 1/1, as a revenge killer, if you're only playing it for that effect, paying 1 for the revenge kill stuff feels kind of bad.
Ooh, I like it. I like the fact that this just sits in the back row and just pings and just takes care of their back row every turn.
Only
And
if it's a
then-
1/1 or higher.
Well, okay, well, whatever.
Yeah, higher than
it
their
sits
level.
in the back row and has another effect, but you can just turn it sideways and fuck up their play next turn. And then the 2,000 power on reverse effects on either turn, so it makes your backups like twice as good, right? You back up one lane and then you get 2,000 more power in another lane.
Ah, the railgun thought process. We will lose one lane and save our others.
The thing with the anti-standby is that there's a costless card that has this same effect on play.
Oh.
So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Not
This
great.
card's a little worse.
You don't think it'd be a good standby target? It's like a good like 1/1 standby to go into? Like if you trigger standby early.
Nah.
No, because when you're playing standby, usually the only advantage that you get is through your board. So the cards that you standby have to be generating board advantage, and this card doesn't inherently generate board advantage.
Yeah, it just gives reverse power.
Ryan, this card says plus 2,000 on it.
Yeah,
No,
only when you get reversed.
That's
No.
advantage.
Wait, 1 sec. 1 sec. Let me just quickly reread this again. When the battle opponent of your other character becomes reversed. Yeah, so it's when you reverse them.
Yeah, when your
Yeah.
character reverses.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I was just getting confused there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, never mind. Not a revenge kill. Never mind. Yeah. Okay,
It's
D
not-
minus
it's not
sucks.
really
Yeah. Okay, don't like it. It's only good in very specific. And you know what? D plus because it's niche. It's cool to have anti-standby tech, but like, yeah, fuck this. Fuck that.
That's about where I'm at. I mean, Andy pointed out about the only real use case for this card is using it in tandem with backups to essentially double backup 2 lanes. But that's about all this is good for.
I like it. I think if you're playing standby, you can tech 1 or 2 of these in and like
If
give
you're
you the edge in the
yeah.
standby matchup, and then
If
also
you're
try to
meta
snowball
standby
one kill.
heavy, yeah, I feel like it's fine. But it's cool that they have access to the effect.
I don't think it's a D. Surely not a D.
Nah, it's the D.
Sorry.
Yep, slap the D's on that.
The foil art of this card is beautiful.
Is it? I haven't seen the foil.
Hell yeah. It's
Well,
so gorgeous.
You have all the foils, so.
Full playset.
Yikes!
Opened 4 cases. Hell
Yikes!
yeah.
All right, moving on here. It's me. We got what's this character's name?
Diablo.
Okay. If you have Diablo, yeah. If you have 2 or more other Demon Continent characters, gains 1,000 power. When it attacks, if it's a level 3 or higher, it gains 6,000 power. So it's a 14k to kill level 3s. Anti-early play.
Good. If you need this effect, this card's pretty good.
Yeah, it's just gives you an effect in this color to kill early plays. Decent enough option. I like that it's bigger than a normal early play. For at this point in the game, you're hitting that first condition pretty much every time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's like a B minus C plus around there, somewhere in there.
You
Guess I'd just give it a solid C.
you run it if you need it.
All right.
You've been real high on these cards lately, Carmen. Yeah.
What, the clears? Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's because we've been playing a lot more JP format. These are a lot better. We're really high on bombs in English because of Love Live Sunshine, and it's like so big over here in NA, where it's like, oh my god, I have to remove Yo if I'm gonna play a anti-early play on my turn, as opposed to an anti-change backup. But like in JP, you just need to kill it. So these are really good because they hold board. They create a damage buffer. So that's a way to look at them, I guess. When you're not having to deal with Yo as much, these are a lot better. All right, next card here.
All right,
Brian.
we have Hero King, Ezel. Wait,
He's the
Wrong
Hero
card.
King?
hold on.
Wrong
Hold on.
card.
I can't
Wrong
read. This is Orc Disaster Guild,
Yeah, I was gonna say, what the fuck?
not the Hero King.
Oh, God.
On play, mill 2, and your opponent takes X damage, where X is the sum of the soul trigger icons. Has a climax combo on climax play with the shot. He's in the front row. You choose one of your opponent's characters, return it to their hand, and choose a Demon Continent character in your waiting room. Put it into your stock. He also has sacrifice an unreversed orc character that you control at the beginning of your encore step, and you can encore him that way. So he encores by sacrificing an orc character.
Yeah, orcs are army cards. Like there's a 0/0 and a 1/0 orc.
Yeah.
Is this Demon Continent? Is he searchable? Does he jive with the rest of the deck?
Everything should be Demon Continent except for that
Mhm.
0/0 in the trial deck.
This card seems great. It's a great card.
It seems fine.
Like, not for its intended purpose. Like, this seems like a garbo fucking card in the orc deck. But just splash this in the normal deck, and it's like an on-play do some burns.
I think it really comes down to how many.
I mean, look at the triggers you run in your deck, too. You run Pants, Wind, and Standby in some combination. All have a soul on them.
That's true.
It is sacky, but like...
If you have some
The
top
issue-
check effect to pair it with, you can set it up even more.
the issue with that is you're touching a compressed deck at a stage of the game where you don't necessarily want to be touching it. Or that you don't want to be forced to touch it.
Yeah, it's like a.
Touching it, 'cause I'm going for the kill that turn.
If
I'm gonna
it's
touch it, and I'm gonna mill 2 cards, and I'm gonna burn you for 1 or 2 damage, and I'm gonna kill you.
well, there's the Milamov finisher for that. I think is the big thing.
Yeah, there's other forms of like CX-less finish that you can pair with like the win combo to go for a hyper turn kill. That isn't this and doesn't like touch your deck in case you don't kill.
I mean,
He's the hero king.
in terms of the orc deck, this seems pretty dank. It like one of your orcs in like an open lane because none of your orcs are winning board, right? I think.
The orcs are pretty big.
Are they pretty big?
It has to be a
Yeah.
non-reverse orc.
Yeah.
They're pretty big, but like for the encore effect specifically, it's probably going to be an orc in the back row, just like based on game timing.
Yeah, that's what I figured. It is pretty dank though. I don't know. The first effect is really meme. I like it. It's,
Just super splashable.
I guess I think the Milam's more splashable, which is just like a pay 1 and then it's a burn 1 and then a clock kick.
Yep.
So that's just a lot better than this, which is random.
Is the other one on reverse?
It's on play, top check. If it's a character, you burn 1, and then on reverse, you pay 3 clock kick. And she has a power condition as her third effect.
So even if you tap out, as we say, if you pay out all your stock, you can still do the clock kick in your last lane.
Okay, this is way more stock efficient though.
I mean, yeah, it's free.
I don't have to pay 3 to clock kick.
Assuming you hit, it is random.
But I guess being able to hit and to burn for 1 is going to be more consistent than burning for multiple cards with this potentially.
Especially
like
if you're setting, if you're gonna set a card that's gonna burn, right? You would rather only have to set the top card,
Right.
than have to somehow set 2 cards. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
the other
dank.
one does seem better.
It's like a C plus. Like if you're playing the orc deck, obviously you're playing this card, but
yeah, it's fine for like the orc deck budget build, but I wouldn't really play it otherwise.
Yeah, I like the on play mill 2 burn. That's an interesting effect.
The combo and the on play don't make sense to me.
They're opposing.
The encore effect too. It's like it's trying to make you want to 2-turn with it, but the climax combo isn't particularly good if you slam it a second time.
Yeah, the encore is more flavor, honestly. I wouldn't. Yeah, it's just mainly a flavor effect. I wouldn't really look past that.
Yeah, I think it's just flavor.
He's the hero king. He never dies.
He's the hero king.
All right, next card. Let's move on. We got another orc. We got Orc Disaster Geld? No, Orc Lord Geld.
Hero king guild.
Hero King Geld. If you have 4 or more markers under this, he does not stand. Okay, look at activate, rest this, look at the top card of your deck, put it under this card as a marker, choose a Demon Continent character and give them 1,500. You can pay 1, put 4 markers from under this into the waiting room, and sack this if you're level 2 or higher. Early play the level 3 from before over top this. And then start up, discard, or wait. Put one of your other Gelman Cunning Devil from stage under this face down. Stand this, choose a Demon Continent character in your waiting room, put that character to stock. Okay, so you need the last effect to actually even do the early play. Because if you have 4 markers under this, it doesn't stand.
Wait, so like on the first turn,
Oh, wait,
you rest
you
it.
don't have to rest for it.
No, you don't need the last effect to get it. You can get 4 markers by tapping it 4 times. And
Yeah.
then sack the 4 markers just to early play.
Well, it doesn't stand.
Oh,
So after-
no, Ryan's right. Because you don't need to rest him to sack him. You just pay one.
Pay one, sack it in 4 markers.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So on the turn, it wouldn't be able to attack. You transform it.
No, it would, because it comes into it turns into a different card that comes in untapped.
Yeah.
I guess the last ability then just lets you kind of turbocharge it. Like you can accelerate out the if you need to get like a turn faster, you can accelerate out the Hero King.
It
But,
also gives you a way to convert hand into stock, which can be pretty valuable.
Yeah.
I think this card sucks.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a budget card.
Well,
I don't think you even play this in the Orc King deck. If you don't turn 1 this card, are you even going to be able to early play it on time?
Some people, like, even now, some people actually like play this and then the other 0/0 with it, just as like a way to like add add compression to the. Because like typically the deck wants to play for compression, and this card can potentially give you even more compression that your opponent usually can't interact with without like an on-play bounce or a win trigger. So, like, in
Yeah,
that
because it
regard,
just
the
builds
card-
markers.
Yeah, the card's like not that bad. You can build markers. You can convert your hand into stock. It's not terrible in that sense.
It's like a large package, though. You got to run a bunch of bad cards to do something that's like pretty easily answered.
Yeah, and I mean the putting a marker.
And you're not even running the top end Orc if you do that. You said no one runs that, Ryan. So
Yeah,
they're running all these little shitty ones, and they're not running the big one.
like, you just have to run this and then the
Gelmud.
0/0 Gel mode.
Yeah.
Which
You
is
don't-
not-
do
not
they
in
even
our
run the
regard.
big? Do they even run the big 3/2?
No.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, like some people
What the
just
hell's
like
the point?
opt into this for like extra compression.
Yeah, it's just for
Right.
compression. It's just for stock, yeah.
I mean, he looks at the top card and unconditionally puts it underneath him, though. He can just eat.
You
climate.
can't choose.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a tap 15 that markers your top card.
Well, I'm not a huge fan.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this. The compression is cool,
I guess.
but. And you stand it. So, like,
Yeah. Nice.
on play, so you play this. I'm trying to think through how this works. Okay. You play this, you rest it. You put a card under it from the top of your deck as a marker. You play a Gelmud, or you put a card, you put that underneath it as a marker. You stock charge from your waiting room. So it gives you a stock. You stand it. You rest it again. Put another card from the top of your deck underneath it. So it can generate 3 markers on the turn you play it, which is pretty dank. 3 markers on the turn you play it if your opponent can't bounce it, if this is a card that sits in the back row. And you've given out 1,500 twice to your board. Okay, I can see where... I can see that line of
3
thought.
markers in one turn.
Mm-hmm.
How? You have to sacrifice 2 Gelduns?
Yeah, you'd have to play that Gelmud from your hand.
No,
Sack
you only
it.
Yeah,
You only sack 1, because it stands it.
Yeah, you play this card, you rest it, you get a marker, you play the Gelmud, you get another marker from the Gelmud, and restand this, and then you get to use its tap again to get 3 markers.
It's interesting, but I hate
This is
it.
too spicy for even me. This card sucks. I'm sorry, Ryan. This card, F.
No, it's okay. I don't play this. I'm not a fan either. It's just like a possibility for this card or like a reason that you can run it.
I'm going to give it a
Carmen,
D+.
you changed that
Yeah.
to C. You give
Well,
it
no.
better
I
cards
was-
than this.
I was hitting
Four
C, and then I was like, am I going to give it a C-, or am I going to go to D? It's a D. It's D+. I don't like that you have to run the Gelmud. What does the Gelmud do? Well, I guess we'll get to it, right?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
coming up.
I looked. It's pretty bad. I'd give this card a G or an H if I could.
Yikes.
That's not allowed.
All right, let's just move on. Who's this?
Oh, that's Ryan.
It's 1/0 Ramirez. I don't know what the official English name is, but it's
Whatever.
During your turn, it gains 4,000 power. So it's a 1/0/7500 on your turn.
Is this real card formatting? This text above the text here for the name? Am I, or is that? Yeah.
The text above it is furigana, I think. Right? It's telling you how to read the kanji in it.
Okay. Yeah. I think right. I can barely see it.
It's too blurry. It's
Yeah.
too blurry for me to read it. But
Yeah.
I believe that's what that's what they do for cards.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen that at all ever. Okay. During your turn, it gains 4K. 7/5. I hate it.
It's a wall buster. If you're against like, standby cards, this lets you deal with 1/1. But that's about it.
Yeah, F plus, I guess. I don't like it.
It's not great. I mean, it's not the worst thing ever, but I'd still give it an F probably.
I'd never run this card. Is my thing. It's like
if you want a wall, but why not just run a Suicider at that point? It's not like this is living on the way back. It only gets power.
Well, do we have a way to kill costless cards? Do we have a red bomb in this set?
What do you mean by a red bomb?
Like a red, like just reverse bomb.
At level 1?
Yeah, level 1.
Level 1, no. No, we do not.
Oh, if we don't, yeah, I guess it's a D then. If we don't have a way to just reverse standby targets, I guess it is a D. It's so bad though.
Still don't think you play it. I guess it'd be like a D minus 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 minus. You're not playing this.
All right, we got this Demon Lord Fairy. When you play her, pay 1. Summon a cost 0 or lower Demon Continent character from your waiting room. At the end of the turn, you send it to your memory. These cards are dank.
Compression.
Yeah, they give you free compression. Well, so stock even compression, right?
When Slime first came out, I tested this card and I wasn't actually a fan of it because the way I was looking at this card was it was extra copies of the Shizu combo, and the deck doesn't have a problem getting copies of Shizu by the level 1 turn. So I thought this card was really bad.
That's what I was gonna ask you. Is like, if you don't have trouble getting the Shizus into memory, that's what I would be sending to memory with this card. So,
but if you look at it if you look at this card a different way, it's a pay 1 plus that converts the stock that you paid into permanent compression.
Yeah, like in a vacuum, I think it's fine.
Not even necessarily in a vacuum. If you just look at it that way, it converts your stock into compression that your opponent can't touch, that can't touch, and can potentially send dead cards out, it can potentially compress dead cards away. You can use this to spawn in the Rickies after level 1 or after your combo turn, and they can attack into a lane that they can get a profitable attack in, or just like a direct attack, and then they go away forever. And that itself is really good. When
synergy with cards that have on play effects, it's bad with. But this is like the what was the card earlier? The swordsman that minus 500 to their field and then just to X power.
Yeah, if you don't need that,
he'd be good to run with this. It's something that's it's a useful effect even if you bring it out not from your hand. And then it's a shitty card you don't want to see later either.
The cards that you pull out don't matter. I actually think that's the wrong way to look at this card. It's a plus that turns you to permanent compression, and that by itself is inherently good, right?
Yeah, I think that as it reads, not thinking about anything else, these effects are very strong because it's just free compression.
So you're saying that it doesn't matter what you pull out with it; it's just the fact that it goes to memory that's the important part.
Yeah.
Correct. I think I've said this multiple times. Slime wants to be a hyper compression or quote unquote hyper compression, memory healing kind of deck. That's what it does best, and this card plays into that game plan perfectly.
I'm just confused. Does your character actually have to live?
No.
Yes.
To go to memory?
Yes.
Yeah.
If they die, and they go to waiting room before they go to memory. That's why I said you have to pull out a card that gets profitable.
Yeah. If these die, they.
Yeah, it's end of turn. So
I just want because on Encore, it's individual per character, and then you would go to the end phase.
Yes, you encore before end phase. So the card that you summon has to live through the attack in order to go to memory. But like usually what happens, or like the way that like you would use this card is at level 2 onwards, once you've placed your Shizu early plays, and people start to like crash into it because they can't remove it since it has hand encore, then you would summon cards into those open lanes and then send them away to memory. Or if you're at level 1, you would spawn your stock generation cards. So like you have what are we calling this? I call it Maya. Maya from Kantai, or Fran from Apocrypha, like a 1/0 on act gain on reverse stock charge.
Yeah.
It's like what you can do at level 1 is like after your Shizu combo, or even before, if like you don't have the combo ready for whatever reason, like you missed the climax or whatever, you can like spawn your stock charge card, like use a free startup that we'll like get to later, I guess. Get a free stock, and then it goes away to memory, so it gives you like additional compression.
Yeah. Looking at it like that, this card's super great. Like,
it goes really nicely with the last card we just shat all over, the robot.
yeah, it's just
It's like
it even works with the robot. There is synergy. You can spawn the robot to hard remove one lane that you can't deal with, and then it goes away forever into uninteractable compression.
very, very flavorful.
That by itself is really powerful. Like when you run this card, the mask event from the TD, and then like the Shizu combo, like on average a slime deck will hit like 8 plus compression if you're having an average game. And like that by itself is already kind of insane when you think about it.
Yeah, 8 compression on top of 8 memory on top of your stock is crazy.
Yeah.
Yep. It's good. It's a good card. B plus, just because the Shizu also goes to memory.
Wait, why
I'd
the
still
D?
give it a D. I still don't think it's that great.
Why not?
I just look at this card and I compare it to, what's that card we use in Bang Dream, Carmen? Scrunchy Saya?
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same
Doesn't
thing.
she
But
do
this
something
card,
else when you play her too?
Yeah,
she
it's
has
the
a
same
climax.
effect.
She does the exact same thing, but she also has a climax combo that changes into another card, I'm pretty sure. And
I thought she had like some milling effect too.
No one plays
she
that.
does
They
not.
just play it for the summon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they just play it for the
I guess I'd
memory.
give it a C then.
Yeah.
I thought the Bang Dream one was like better, but it just had more irrelevant text on it.
No, if anything, this one is actually better than the. Is her name Saya from Bang?
Yeah,
I don't know
Saya,
Bang Dream
yeah.
Rogue. Like yeah,
It's
this card's
fine.
better because it's 500 power bigger, so it can attack more profitably.
I guess it just seems like you have to build around it maybe a bit too much.
Do you have to build around it?
You just summon anything and send it to memory. If there's an open lane on your opponent's field, this card is just pay 1 plus free compression.
Okay. So
You
like,
can-
Ryan, how many of these do you run in your deck?
I think I'm on 2, and then lists generally hover between 2 to 3.
So like, all right. So you have this card that's like sometimes all right, and you say you can hit like 7 or 8 compression with it. Well, you can hit like 8 compression. Well, is there really any difference between 7 compression and 8 compression? Like 7 cards in memory versus 8 cards in memory? Seems pretty marginal.
More compression is always better, especially when the form of compression is getting rid of like dead cards or bad draws. I guess is like another way to word it.
Yeah,
like you can spawn bad cards and throw them away, like the Ricky, for example, or like the 1/0 stock the stock charge on reverse card, for example. Like cards you don't want to see at later points in the game. They become your compression.
Yeah, you just remove the card from the game. These are really strong.
I get that. Like I get what you're saying. Like I totally understand that. It's just like I feel like this card on her own is kind of just like a medium-ish card. It's just like it's not like fantastic. And you're already generating so much memory anyway. Like, do you really need one more?
I mean, it's just one more, yeah.
Even if you don't really care about the one more, it's still a pay 1+1, and that by itself is good. No.
Have you played with these a lot, Andy? I've played a lot with the Saya in weird builds.
So I started on Bang Dream, right?
Yeah.
I played with the Saya a little bit and never really like I was unimpressed with it. Like the first few times I played with it, I'm like, whoa, that's cool, that's a plus. I get another Christmas costume, that's awesome. and then like the more I played with it, it just kind of felt like I didn't really need it. It just felt kind of average.
Well, the best way to play this card is like Wibbs said, you summon garbage that you don't need anymore, that direct attacks, and then removes itself from the game, just giving you more compression. It just removes cards from your deck. Like, if you can summon this on first deck...
The card you summon with it has to live.
Yeah, well, you throw it in direct lane.
Yeah,
when we
have
were
to,
playing with it.
Yeah, like the card you summon has to be able to attack profitably.
Yeah.
Like that kills it for me. It's like I can't just summon a shitter off of this and crash it and have it go to memory. I have to summon Big Robot or like some other like big stat 1/0.
Or a direct lane.
Or a direct lane, but
I mean, I think Wibbs already highlighted that. Like, after you played your early play Shizus, since they have hand encore, your opponent is, like, de-incentivized to, like, clear them outside of very hard removal, like, bombs that send to different zones and stuff. In which case you have a direct lane, then, to summon this card into.
Even if they do hard remove it, you have a direct lane.
Yeah, I think it does have a lot of value. Like, these cards are very strong. I think it's only weakened by the fact that the Shizu also goes to memory. But even then, this is a very strong effect, just in general.
If the Shizu goes to memory, that kind of negates the drawback of your character having to live or whatever anyway, if she goes to memory herself. Although, I don't know how she goes to memory.
Like, on reverse top check, as long as it's a character or the mask event, she goes to memory.
I'm just not super high on this card profile. I'm not as high as you guys on it, but like it's good. It's just, you know, I think it's like a techie sort of card.
Well, we can move on. I think we've talked about it enough.
Yeah, like.
All right, talking about bombs. Is this me? Who's this?
Read the last one. I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
It's a 1/1 anti-change stock bot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's in the English meta. This has more worth. It's the fact that it's at level 1, the 1/1 bomb.
Yeah, comes out earlier.
God forbid we get Summer Pockets in English. This card gets great.
Yeah, they've been printing like 1/1 anti-change bombs a bit more frequently recently because of like the popularity of like stand and I guess like kind of also like Shira hostile combos, which are getting printed more.
Yeah.
Like as it stands, at least like in English meta, this card loses value because yeah, what are you trying to hard remove at level 1?
But it's
it
still
gives
an option.
you the option at least. Like, are you ever really playing a 2/1 anti-change with the thought in mind that this is going to live cross-turn, or are you just playing this anti-change and crashing it?
Probably crashing.
Yeah, I mean,
if you're playing us like a stock bomb as like your form of anti-change, you're always crashing it because you value the hard removal.
right.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, I really don't care that this is a 4,500 as compared to a 6,500.
No, the power doesn't matter. It's a bomb.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's like it's better than a 2/1. You can play it earlier, and you don't care about the power anyway. This card could have 500 power. I wouldn't give a shit.
right. Yeah, I mean, in addition to going after early plays, this card is, I guess, a tech choice you can run if you're seeing a lot of standby in your.
This card will be great against Fujimi.
Against Fujimi, against
Yeah.
against whatever other big standby decks are out there right now.
You probably tech one of this in English Slime, I think. Depending on your meta.
Seems like your anti-change bomb of choice.
If you like, okay, hear me out. Somehow you sack out at level 1 after being like burned, like everything else, and you're still at level 1 and you can't answer it. This lets you answer it, which is something some other decks can't do.
I'm so far ahead of my Sunshine opponent that they yo'd me, and I still didn't hit level 2.
Yeah.
Like just having the option to like hard remove stuff at level 1 is inherently good, but like I'm not personally a fan of anti-change bombs because they have to crash, and then you give your opponent a direct attack to be able to do whatever they want with.
Yeah, it is a general weakness of it, for sure. I think it's fine though. Like a C plus, I think.
I'll give a plus for being a level 1 as opposed to a level 2.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. This one's me.
Next one.
2-1. I can't remember this character's name. Whatever. 2-1 backup. When you use this backup, additional 1,000. It's 3,500 backup. Is this just worse than the Leaf counter?
Yeah.
Has less
How
utility.
much does that extra 1,000 power matter, right? Like, it all depends on your thresholds of power you're trying to hit.
If you need the extra 1,000 power for whatever to win board, then this card becomes a bit better. But usually the Leaf is better.
Yeah, I feel like the Leaf is mostly better.
What do you think about splitting it like 1-1 with the Leaf counter?
If
Just
you're
to
gonna run
give
2
yourself
counters,
the option for the bigger counter, but
You're not necessarily a field-based deck because your main early play has hand on court, so counters become inherently less valuable.
yeah,
Like, the
you
only
can
reason
ditch
you even-
anything.
true.
Yeah, the only reason like you even really play like the Leaf counter in general is because it's a defense. It's the only possible defensive tool that you have available.
Yeah,
Okay, I gotcha. It's more for the scry effect than the
yeah,
extra
it's
power. Okay.
fine. I'm on the board with the C minus. I think Brian's on the nose there. All right, to you, Brian.
Oh, here he is, the Hero King, Giselle. On play, look at top 3. Put them on top of your deck in any order, and bounce a character. So he does not cantrip, but he bounces a character on play and rearranges your top 3. And he has pay 1, choose one of your Demon Continent characters, and that character gains a soul until end of turn.
Do you hate Ryder?
Yeah,
This card absolutely dunks Ryder, and like
Yeah.
Ryder style cards. The card's really cool.
depending on the meta that you expect to play into, this is a easily includable 1-0.
No, that's a scry 3.
Yeah, it lets you
it-
set your triggers.
It gives you like trigger information for the turn. It bounces one lane you can't deal with, and then you can soul pump and side over another lane that you can't deal with. So
You can set up your top check effects. You can know all 3 triggers if you want to. You can optimally sequence for, I don't know, playing your
Yeah,
Ringaroos.
It's
Looking
just
at, I don't need to look at all 3 cards. I'll just look at one because I put the one I wanted on top.
it's just better than a normal bouncer in general.
And
a
then it
level
has that
3
extra
bouncer.
soul effect too that you can use as many times as you want. This card's really good.
yeah,
I like it a lot.
Like usually bouncers 1-for-1 problem cards. Like you bounce one problem card and then that's like all they do. But this card can potentially like 2-for-1 or even 3-for-1 problem cards. Like if your opponent double riders you, like one copy of this deals with double rider like by itself. If they triple rider you, you can spend some extra stock, and this card by itself will deal with triple rider. It's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, because you can side and just give as much soul as you want.
Yep.
Yeah, really cool card.
Really neat.
Yeah,
Give it
It's,
a B plus.
yeah, bouncer's
Yeah.
pretty good right now.
B
If
for
you
bouncer.
need the bounce effect, then this card's really good. Depends on what you're playing.
I think it has a really high floor too. Just because the look at 3, rearrange them. That's a lot of cards to rearrange.
Potentially, like it's not always like super high impact knowing what your triggers are, but like there are some cases where that can make or break you.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
just
It makes it even better as a 1-of because it's not dead even in matchups where you don't need the bounce. All right, we can move on.
Yeah, we got Gelmud, the Cunning Devil. He is the other part of the card that goes with the Orc Lord from earlier. Beginning of your attack phase, you choose one of your characters with Orc in its name, and for that turn, that character gets 500 power times the number of characters with that name on the field. So 500 power for itself and 500 power for every additional copy you have on field. He has another startup ability. You can pay 2 and discard a character with an Orc in its name to salvage a character in your waiting room and then salvage another character with the same name as that card you just salvaged. You specifically have to salvage 2 of the same card.
This is an orc card. Just for orcs.
Just for orcs.
Like,
It's so restrictive anyway. I don't know.
yeah, this card's like not that bad if you're playing the orc deck. It's even like medium in there. You know, if you play that marker card just for markers and like compression, then this card's like not that bad because it converts hand to stock. But by itself, it's not very good though.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. It's like D+.
I don't think it makes the other one worth playing.
Depends on what you're trying to do, but it's like I don't know. It's very restrictive.
Being able to convert hand to stock is a pretty powerful effect, but when you have to commit 2 cards or 2 slots in your deck to do so, it's not that good.
Yeah, too many deck slots for me. Moving on.
All right,
here.
next card. This is you, Wibbs.
All right, 0/0 Orcs. It's an army card. They can't side. And for every other copy of this or the 1/0 army card, they gain 1,000 power.
Boring.
It's an army card. It's a pretty good army card. I will say that.
Yeah, the fact that it has more power generally makes it better.
Yeah, it is very large. The 1/0 orc is also very large, but the issue with like the orc deck, if you haven't seen by the other cards that interact with orc, they're not very good.
Yeah.
So like, the army deck isn't inherently very good because usually army decks are based on the support around them.
D-. I hate
What are
army
they
cards.
making these army decks? Like, does anyone even like this stuff?
Army
Like,
decks
it's
can be
just
fun.
tax filler.
No,
Budget
they
players
can be
do.
fun. Like
Yeah.
it just depends on the cards that go with your army deck. It's like the Nanaha army deck is really good and really fun because the support around it makes the army cards like worth playing. But orcs didn't get that treatment.
Nope. Bad orcs.
F for orcs. Here, I'll press F for orc. There we go. F for orc in the chat.
That's in the chat.
Alright, we got this dwarf guy. He's a level 0/3k. He can't side attack. And if you have no other characters, he's +1 level, +1500 power. Pretty good turn 0. If you're going for it.
Yeah.
That's even not bad. Turn
It's-
2. He's 3k.
It's a card that you can play down that will attack profitably, like early game, and it's almost guaranteed to live no matter what. It's not that bad if you want a card that fills that function.
Yeah. I
Even
feel
if
like
he's your
I'd rather
second
play the
character,
Shizu.
3,000 power is still pretty big and gets over a lot.
Or Shion, rather. I think I'd rather play the Shion over this. This is the same color.
Yeah, for the most part. If it had like a different demerit, like go to bottom deck or something like the Amane from Grisaya, I'd be more on board with this card. But yeah, it's very medium.
Yeah, the Grisaya one is fine because of bottom decks.
Isn't go to bottom of the deck a bad effect?
Depends on when you
It
play it.
Yes and no. Yes and no. Let's put it that way. Like it quote unquote decompresses you, sure, but it can also put you in better situations as the game progresses into the next couple of turns. Like with Grisaya specifically, the fact that it bottom decks you gives you more hit targets for your 1/1 flower stand event. So like it's good in that sense.
Yeah. This deck doesn't have those opportunities, but I mean, like, it's not a side. It's a side. Can't side attack. Not a bottom decker. I think I'd always play the Shion over this, but fine.
Yeah, I mean, I think it. The thing is, if you want to see this on your first turn, you need to run a bunch of copies of it, and then it's just kind of meh.
Even if you turn to it, it's still 3,000 power.
I mean, that's true.
Still basically an oversize.
All right, whatever.
What did we give the card that sits at 4K?
Like a B.
Yeah.
I think this is like just as good as that. Maybe even
Yeah.
better. I think it's better.
I mean, like most decks for their plusing 0 opt into like oversizes, so like 3500 or so like if this card isn't alone, it's almost never gonna stick to the board. Is an actual like downside to it.
Yeah.
Maybe you play like one of this and 3 normal oversizes.
Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe you just max at 1 copy on this.
Whatever.
But
I don't know. We shouldn't dwell on it too long.
All right, vanilla. Next card. Brian.
We love the vanilla. All right, this is Orc General. It's an army card. You can play as many copies as you want. Can't side attack. For each of your other Orc General or Orc characters, this gets 1500 power.
That is bigger than normal.
This is not exclusive to just your front row.
Yeah.
So it can get up to 9k.
Yeah, the army cards in this set are monstrous. To put it nicely.
Yeah, that is really big for a costless card.
It's just the support around the army cards don't work.
Wait, this card has a soul trigger. This deck pushes damage.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah. This is dang. This card's got a soul trigger.
Stick some 2 souls.
Hey, works with the finisher.
Oh, that's
It
true.
does, yeah, because this card has a soul trigger.
The
That's
fact that it's a
interesting.
1/0 with a soul trigger actually makes it playable in other circumstances too, potentially.
Well, it is just a 103k without
Yeah.
other copies.
Yeah, it's a garbage card, but it's a garbage shitter that has a soul trigger in the corner. It's a shitter with a soul trigger.
It's a 1-0.
You only play this in the Orc deck.
Yeah, it's only an orc card. I'm gonna give it a C- because it has a soul trigger and it's a costless card.
I think I agree with you.
It's like whatever.
I think it's
No,
still
the
probably like D range, but
Orcs suck.
I mean, yeah, they do, but they are beefy. They're costless though. You can kill them with soccer bomb. So loses to fate out of 10. Next card.
you just swing for massive damage early game, and everything is a soul trigger. All or nothing, baby. All right, next card, we got a 1/0. It is Cabal, Alan, and Guido. Troublemakers. All of your other characters get the ability they cannot side attack. When you play this from hand to stage, choose a cost 1 or higher character in your opponent's waiting room, put it in an empty slot in your opponent's back row. So ideally, you really have to do this like right after your opponent refreshes, or while they have nothing
board.
of higher cost.
No, full board.
Or full board, yeah.
They only place in an empty slot. So if they have a full board,
If they have a full build, yeah.
this card sucks.
I think ideally this would be one of the cards you'd want to pull out with the one fairy card from before.
Yeah, it has synergy with the fairy.
It has a bad effect from hand, but you can ignore that effect by just cheating it in from graveyard, and then it goes to memory. Anyway,
Still
it's big.
sucks.
Yeah, need.
Yeah, it
don't
still
like it.
sucks. Still sucks, but
Fine.
I
I
guess
guess.
in that if you're living in a fairy tale
I guess.
and you get the perfect play.
All right, we
Don't
can
play
just
that
move
card.
on. I think this is you, Ryan.
Sorry. It's a 2/1 guild counter. When you use this card's backup ability, you can pay 1 if you do choose a guild, inheriting the wishes of the Orc Demon Lord in your waiting room, and return it back. So it salvages itself, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it salvages itself.
There's too much kanji on it. I can't read it. It's a 2500 backup.
2,500, and when you play it, you get to pay 1 and salvage it. You can't salvage itself because the backups go to waiting room the second you play them. So
It can salvage itself.
yeah, so you can just grab it back. It's a repeatable counter.
Eh.
Yeah, I'd rather play the Leafa counter over this.
I'd also rather
every time.
play the 3500 counter over this every time.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it an F+ for repeatable,
Being
but
able
it's
to
bad.
repeat it is it doesn't really matter ever.
Yeah, it's interesting but bad. All right, so we got this Shion. If there's a marker under this, it gains 6,500 power and 1 soul. So 2/1, 3,500. And when you play it from the hand of the stage, you can choose this 3K vanilla red one, this Rimuru, and put it from your waiting room face up underneath this as a marker.
I love it when they make use of vanilla cards, like with some other card that makes it worth it to play it.
That's
I
sarcasm.
don't know if this makes the 3K worth playing, but
Yeah, it's
I at
bad.
least like the design direction.
D
Yeah.
plus for 2 souls on a 2/1.
1200 power, 2 souls is okay.
2/195, 2 souls good. It's just
10K.
it's not. I don't think that's enough payoff for running the amount of 3Ks and the amount of this card you would need to.
The 2/1 10K 2 soul.
6. So,
Oh,
yeah,
2/1 10K, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still bad.
Yeah.
All right, next, Brian.
Okay, we got
It's a pile of goo.
home cooking, melty spoon. 1/1 event. If there are 1 or fewer climax cards in your waiting room, you cannot play this. All of your opponent's characters get minus 1,000 power until the end of the turn.
Huh.
It's not enough. Not enough power for me. Pointless
So-
restriction. Don't like it.
I agree. I hate
After the Disgaea like was the best deck in the game, like way back in the day, they've been very like hesitant on making neg power effects. And
Yeah.
that this card sucks. Straight up, this card is just Wingslayer, but like worse in every single way.
Yeah, so that makes it garbage. At least Wingslayer, if you're at 1/5, you can go for 2.
Like I don't think minus power effects are inherently bad. It's just like
Minus
in
power
Memory
effects
Snow they
are-
had that one I liked, and in what was the other set? In JoJo's there was like some green card that gave minus power to like.
What
two
was it?
different
The
lanes.
Memstone one was like 2/0, -2. 2K?
It was just like 1,000's not enough to really.
Yeah, minus
kill
power
anything.
effects are like actually game breaking when they're too strong, and that is literally what happened with Disgaea. Like back in the day, Wingslayer was the best card in the game for a very long time, and it
Yeah.
wasn't even close. And like because of that, and like because Wingslayer was on the ban list for, is it on the ban list? I think it was on the ban list for a while with the 3/2 Laharl and the 1/0 Flown. They've been very hesitant on printing minus power effects because the potential strength of them is ridiculous.
It's so hard to imagine like this guy on a ban list. Like,
Well, think about it. Back in the day when Disgaea was the best deck in the game, like there was no advantage, or there was very like little advantage besides Disgaea.
yeah,
So like your advantage was winning the board, and Wingslayer killed your entire back row and then let you kill the front row. So like
Yeah.
one card made your opponent go -5 for frankly no like or basically no cost. That card was absolutely absurd back in the day.
yeah.
And all those poor fairy tale players needed a chance, Carmen.
Yeah. You had to ban it.
All those Persona 4 players.
All right. Last card
This is
here.
The last one. It's a 2/1. We got an event. And the handsome dwarf from earlier. Choose one of your characters. They get 1,000 power times the number of demon characters. So it's 2/1 backup up to 5K. I don't know why you'd play this over the 3,500 counter or even the Leafa counter.
Yeah, it's an event. Hard to get in hand, not consistent.
I don't mind drawing into my events usually, but as far as like backup power events go, I better be able to salvage it off like the character's effect.
A lot of power for one stock.
It
Deck
is.
for board though, so it's very irrelevant.
This does have a bonder though, right? I think.
No, it does not. The
Oh,
only
okay.
way to get this outside of drawing it is the Cheery.
Fury. Okay. All right, that's yellow. Any overarching thoughts on yellow?
Whew, that's a lot of yellow.
Yeah, there's a
Cards,
lot
yeah.
of yellow. The set is mainly yellow and blue, so we've gotten through the first big chunk of it.
We got a nice easy one next with red.
We can only hope. That's still a lot of cards. I scrolled. But yeah, we got the Rimuru combo and the Ricky, big ones.
Mhm.
Bunch of other cards. The fairy summoner. I know Andy didn't like it. That's an important card.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I just don't
Yeah.
think it's. I wouldn't call it one of the important cards.
Yeah, I think that's it for yellow. We'll see you guys in red.